so-called Austrian Oak has grown a long way from his small-town roots. Born in Thal in 1947, the son of a Nazi policeman, Arnold Schwarzenegger has been quoted as saying, "I knew I was a winner back in the late 60s. I knew I was destined for great things." He tested his theory by using his bodybuilding prowess to escape to America in 1968 and went on to win the Mr. Olympia title a record-breaking 6 years in a row. Throughout his subsequent careers in movies and politics, his dedication to the sport has remained as solid as his abs.
When I retired from bodybuilding competition in 1975, I said, I retire from competition, but I will continue supporting the sport of bodybuilding. And this is what I've done ever since 1975. Continue supporting the sport of bodybuilding through the Arnold Classic, running the Mr. Olympia competitions, Mr. Universe, having the health conventions and all of those things, working with the Vida magazines and with Muscle and Fitness. I have a great time doing that because I'm such a strong believer that bodybuilding helped me so much in my life. They helped me with discipline and with goal setting and turning my goals into reality and all this. So I always recommend it to every kid, to everyone, to exercise daily and to go and live well with good nutrition, food supplements and all of those things. So I think it is a real great savior for everybody.
Still referred to as the King by Muscle Mag International, Arnie has made a career out of swatting the opposition like flies. In the lead-up to winning his 5th Mr. Olympia title, he formed the focus of the groundbreaking documentary Pumping Iron, which shone a light into the do-or-die world of bodybuilding and Arnold's unrivaled determination to win. He then retired to pursue an acting career. In his first starring role in Hercules in New York, his Austrian accent made him so unintelligible that all his lines had to be dubbed in post-production. Despite such a dubious start, he scored a blockbusting hit with his 1982 outing in the sword-and-sorcery epic Conan the Barbarian.
There were times where people said it can never be done, that an Austrian farm boy can come over to America and get into the movie business and be successful in the movie business. They said we cannot pronounce your name, you cannot speak English well, and your body is overdeveloped. And you know what happened? I became the highest paid entertainer in the world, okay?
As well as the follow-up, Conan the Destroyer, 1984 brought with it the sci-fi thriller that catapulted Arnie into Hollywood history. The title role of James Cameron's Terminator totally complemented his robotic acting style, and the cyborg's monosyllabic speech made the lines manageable. True to his famous quote, "I'll be back," the Terminator returned in 1991, his circuitry wizardly reconfigured to transform him into everyone's best friend. The blockbuster raked in $517 million worldwide. As well as other action blockbusters such as Total Recall and Last Action Hero, he happily poked fun at himself in comedies like Twins and Kindergarten Cop. To just about everyone's disbelief, Arnie had become one of Hollywood's brightest stars.
What's he good at? Oh my God. I think basically, he's amazing for so many. He has done more movies and less dialogue than possibly any actor besides Lassie. I think you have to go like, even the dog's going, "Ah! I said something, ah! Go with."
Even in 2002, at the age of 55, he was still packing them in around the world at screenings of his disaster epic Collateral Damage. By the time premieres of the 3rd installment of Terminator rolled around the following year, the word was out that he was thinking of running for governor of California. But like all good politicians, Arnie was playing his cards close to his chest.
I don't think about that now. I only think about Terminator 3. That's all I'm promoting.
But his refusal to comment about the impending race for governorship didn't stop the fans from sticking in their 2 cents.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great guy. I think he's a solid. He's got a political background. He's got the whole Kennedy connection with Maria. And it would not have been the first time, of course, that California's had a governor who's come from Hollywood, right? So Yeah, I think it'd be great.
There was certainly no denying that Arnold's marriage to former President John F. Kennedy's niece Maria Shriver had given him great political connections. And early in 2002, he'd become very vocal in his support of an election to recall Californian Governor Gray Davis.
Gray Davis has terminated jobs. Gray Davis has terminated dreams. Gray Davis has terminated opportunities, and now it is time that we terminate him.
And when Arnold puts his mind to something, everyone else might as well go home. After announcing he would stand if voters decided to recall Gray Davis in October 2003, he got on the bus to deliver the kind of rabble-rousing rhetoric movie heroes are famous for.
This is why 1.6 million people have signed a recall petition. And they're basically saying we are mad as hell and we are not going to take it anymore.
Without having served a day in public office and hardly known for his eloquence, Arnie was the runaway favourite going into the polls.
I think he's the man, and we need a change, and he's the perfect one. So I'm tired of all the old stuff. He hasn't been in politics, but he knows about them, so I think he'll do it.
And he did. On his promise to rebuild California's economy and put the needs of children first, as well as reforming the political system, he swept to victory by a massive margin of 1.3 million votes. Newly dubbed the Governator, he enjoyed early successes by repealing an unpopular hike in vehicle registration fees and by banning the issue of driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. After this, however, he encountered some rocky times due to some major run-ins with unions, and in 2005 he saw all 4 of his proposed measures voted down in a special election. With the general fortunes of the Republican Party flagging, he appointed Democrat Susan Kennedy as Chief of Staff and mounted a forward-thinking and far-reaching campaign to combat global warming, backing research into alternative forms of energy. He signed a bill to create the nation's first cap on greenhouse emissions. Putting his own money where his mouth was, he also adapted one of his Hummers to run on hydrogen and installed solar panels in his home. He also joined forces with fellow action star Jackie Chan to combat video piracy in Hong Kong, and took the opportunity to emphasize the fact that he chooses not to draw a salary for his role as California's governor.
I don't make any money, not even as governor. I gave my salary back also to the state of California because I'm in no need of cash. I've made plenty of money in my life, luckily through my movie business and through real estate investments and other wise investments, that now I can go and be a public servant and not think about my income and all that, to just think about how can I make California a richer state and how can I make California a more efficient state.
In November 2006, he was re-elected to office with a margin of well over 1 million votes. Since then, one of the issues he's been forced to address is the matter of fixing a $26 billion deficit. Falling back on his talents as an actor, he proved he was no fuddy-duddy by posting a video on his Twitter account in February 2009 to thank followers for sending in their budget-balancing ideas.
Oh. Hey guys, I just want to say thanks very much for all the great ideas you're giving me. I mean, we talked about making some cuts in the budget, getting rid of some of the state cars, and then all of a sudden you come up with the great ideas. Why not just sign the cars? Since you're a celebrity governor, sign the cars and sell it for more money. That's exactly what we're going to do. So I love your ideas. Give me more of those ideas. We need it.
Despite drawing criticism from some journalists and media commentators, his colourful post drew more than 33,000 hits within 24 hours. And Arnie later defended the video by saying, "Being saddened by cutting budgets did not mean that you cannot wave a knife around or wave your sword around to get the message across that certain cuts have to be made." He's also been keeping up his commitment to lead the charge against global warming. Wearing an emerald green tie to ram the point home, he spoke of the need to invest in environmental technology at the 2009 CeBIT fair in Germany. With his second term as governor soon coming to an end, many political commentators are tipping that Arnie will soon make a bid for a seat in the US Senate. Despite his apparent invincibility, Arnie's career hasn't been without its controversies and medical challenges. While he continues to extol the many virtues of bodybuilding, one doctor has gone on record to claim that the Governator's self-confessed early steroid use in the sport was to blame for heart troubles, which saw him undergo surgery in 1997 to replace an aortic valve with a homograph valve. Arnold, however, has rubbished the suggestion, claiming his condition was genetic and that he hadn't touched anabolic steroids since they became illegal in 1990. 4 years later, he crashed his motorcycle in LA and woke up in hospital with 6 broken ribs. In 2006, he was back again, having 15 stitches in his lip, after a woman backed out of her driveway into his Harley-Davidson, with his son Patrick in a sidecar.
As you can see, I have some stitches on my lips, and it's because of my motorcycle accident I had. It's not what normally happens when you see someone in Hollywood with swollen lips. It's collagen shots, but I mean, this is not what it is. It's no plastic surgery or anything like that. It's just simply an accident with the motorcycle.
As it turned out, he was not properly licensed to be riding with a sidecar, although no citations were issued. However, that stunt gone wrong was nothing compared to the mess he made of himself after tripping over his ski pole on an easy ski run on Bulb Mountain in Idaho. That attack of clumsiness ended in a 90-minute operation to insert cables and screws into his shattered femur. And he arrived on crutches to be sworn in for his second term as governor. He was a little more lucky in June 2009, when his plane was forced to make an emergency landing in the San Fernando Valley after smoke was reported in the cockpit. Typically unfazed by danger, he found the time to make 2 Twitter posts to followers during the steep emergency descent. But then being able to keep a cool head under fire is a vital ingredient in the Arnold Schwarzenegger success story. And at a speech to students in 2007, he proved that he can also play a real-life hero when a young schoolgirl fainted on stage. Unfortunately, however, he still has quite a long way to go to overturn a reputation for being less than chivalrous. Over the course of his career, he's had to deal with numerous claims of sexual and personal misconduct. In 2003, in the run-up to his election as governor, his alleged mistreatment of women formed the basis of a smear campaign dubbed Gropegate, which saw the Los Angeles Times printing accounts from women accusing him of molesting them and making obscene remarks. One woman claimed he tried to take off her bathing suit in a lift.
I was shocked. I said to myself, well, this is the puke campaign that they're talking about, because people want me. People always say this, Arnold, don't get into politics, because they're going to try to attack you, they're going to try to tear down your character and all those things. But you know something? I don't let them tear down my character. I'm going to move forward.
Over recent years, he's also faced criticism in his home country of Austria. In 2005, his hometown of Graz removed his name from the city stadium over Christmas, amid anger over his decision to deny clemency to death row inmate Stanley Tookie Williams. Supporters of the former Crips gang leader contended Williams had redeemed himself through years of campaigning against gang violence, but Arnold was unrepentant about his decision not to save him from lethal injection.
I think that what I said was that the things that was presented to us, there was nothing there that made me go against the will of the people or the law or the opinions of all the judges and the courts all the way up to the top, 20 years. So there was nothing there that made me overturn all of that and go against that.
In response to the furore, Arnold demanded the stadium in which he used to train as a boy stop using his name in promotions, and returned a Ring of Honor he'd been awarded by city officials in 1999. The tit-for-tat didn't end there. One member of the Austrian Green Party went as far as demanding that Parliament revoke Arnold's Austrian citizenship. Another well-chewed, if less serious bone of contention centres upon the Governator's height. Official stats say he stands at 6'2", but both the Daily Mail and Time Out bravely claimed he seemed a good deal shorter on a trip to London in the 80s, a claim backed up by his fellow bodybuilders. In recent years, the issue was raised by Democratic senior advisor Bob Mulholland, who suggested he was only 5'10" in his socks and wore risers in his boots. Arguments over Arnie's height still generate enough debate to warrant their own dedicated website, and he remains one of the most searched celebrities on celebhype.com. All the controversies and allegations have done little to rock the foundations of Arnold's long-running marriage to Maria Shriver. The power couple actually met way back in 1977, when Arnold was still pumping iron and Maria was a budding journalist. By the time they married at St. Francis Xavier Roman Catholic Church in 1986, she'd left her job as co-anchor of CBS Morning News to anchor weekend news programs over at NBC. She remained at NBC as a contributing anchor on Dateline all the way through the early years of their marriage, in between giving birth to their 4 children, Catherine, Christina, Patrick and Christopher. She finally left the network after Arnold was elected the governor of California. Despite having retired from NBC, she's still very passionate about journalism. In 2008, she turned out in support of the real-life heroines acknowledged by the International Women in Media Foundation's Courage in Journalism Awards.
People who go into journalism want to tell stories, and they want to pursue the truth, and they want to tell truthful stories. It's not about getting somebody or a gotcha. It's a story that's true that needs to be told, and they do it, and that's what keeps them in journalism, and that's why they risk their lives.
Since 2003, Maria's been taking her role as California's First Lady very seriously, working on practical solutions to end cycles of poverty, encouraging all Californians to engage in acts of service to their communities, and raising awareness of the contributions to the state made by women. She's also taken on the role of heading up the annual California Governor and First Lady Conference on Women.
You know, I've said it before, but it's worth repeating, because I love this conference and I love what it has become. It is the only event in the world that combines this wide a variety of speakers, all in one venue. There is no place where you can go and see Gloria Steinem and Condoleezza Rice, Warren Buffett and Jennifer Lopez, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Heidi Klum, Bono and Billie Jean King, all in one day, all in one place. That is extraordinary.
Bringing together such an illustrious group of business people, activists and politicians to discuss women's issues has no doubt done wonders to improve her husband's image among female voters.
I think that women have made tremendous strides forward, and it is very, very challenging to be a woman, obviously, because of the tradition where you come from, and then to break through this glass ceiling and to go and really make those advances and moves forward.
Despite claims made by some of his former female employees about his conduct towards women, Arnold insists that he has nothing but respect for Maria, saying that she's the best reason to go home. Along with Catherine, Christina, Patrick and Christopher, they live in a huge home in Brentwood. They also have houses in Sun Valley, Idaho and Massachusetts. Arnie also keeps a suite in the Regency Hotel in Sacramento at the cost of around $65,000 a year for whenever he's needed in the state capital. That's small change for a man whose net worth has been estimated at well over $200 million. Despite having all but retired from the movies and declining to draw a salary as governor of California, he continues to add to his impressive fortune through his investments and business ventures. Way back in his early bodybuilding days, Arnie began investing in real estate. And over the years, he plowed profits from his movies into a wide range of stocks, bonds and companies, openly admitting, "I've made millions as a businessman many times over." One of his most hyped investments came in the form of a joint venture with fellow action heroes Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone. Tinseltown's Top Hardman pooled their star power and financial muscle to launch a chain of burger restaurants for film buffs called Planet Hollywood. When the company went public in 1996, the share price rocketed to $32. But by 1999, it had slumped to less than $1. And although Arnie decided to cut his losses and get out, he still remains close friends with Bruce and Sylvester, and recently turned out to help Sly celebrate his 60th birthday. Arnold's loyalty to his friends and family gives insight into the softer side of a man mountain who once said, "I just use my muscles as a conversation piece, like someone walking a cheetah down 42nd Street. While he's not afraid to stand toe-to-toe with his fiercest enemy, he's also developed a reputation for his compassion and commitment to good causes. In 2005, during a trip to China to promote Californian products, he took time out to attend an awards ceremony for the Special Olympics and took the opportunity to congratulate the country on its improving standards of inclusion towards the disabled community.
Because that means that the Chinese people are giving change a chance. They're giving tolerance a chance. They're giving inclusion a chance. They're giving love a chance. And that is so important in the movement of Special Olympics.
He also visited wounded soldiers in Iraq to thank the troops for being America's real heroes.
So I just wanted to say to you, thank you for the great work. Thank you for what you're doing for your country. You're true heroes. Keep up the great work. We need you. And I promise you, I'll be back. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
At the Children Affected by AIDS Foundation's 10th annual Halloween Gala, it was his turn to be thanked. He was handed the Celebrity Hero Award for his dedication to putting children first.
And I think that's the thing that we have to take care of most is the children, because they can't really, do anything for themselves in that way. They need money, organization, and all this. And this organization really reaches out to kids that have been affected by AIDS, and so that's a very good organization.
While over in Monaco, he was honored with a Sport for Good award from the Laureus Academy, which runs projects around the world to help hundreds of thousands of children. Not that Arnold needs such accolades to feel rewarded. The Austrian farm boy who battled his way to the very top of the heap in both bodybuilding and movie making regards the privilege of serving his adopted country as payment in itself. And those who know him best believe he will take his commitment to the community all the way to the White House.